this is really Julian Assange. This is really Kim.com. You know, this is the way they're using comedies now as propaganda tools. And they're very seriously promoting assassination and doing things that are way outside of the rule of law. And another piece of news before I get to the vaccines, and I've got an amazing, going back into history, amazing look at the way 60 Minutes, when they did real journalism, the way they looked at the 1976 swine flu vaccination case. This is a very important piece to look at in terms of how they're trying to push vaccines on us. And we're out of time in this segment. When we come back, we're going to start with a guy from some place called Blue Nation. And this guy sounds like the guy who called while I was doing the radio show a couple of weeks ago and started telling me that I needed to take vaccine and didn't know anything about what he was talking about. Stay with us. It's an amazing clip. That and the 1976 swine flu. We'll be right back.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com. No survival chest is complete without Silver Bullet. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. Silver Bullet. The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride and GMO estrogen mimickers and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race. And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
What disaster is so powerful, it unleashes a chain of mass pandemics, economic meltdowns, and violent food riots, all at the same time? NASA has already set the countdown timer, and right now the 21st century apocalypse is less than 13 months away. Former CIA Director James Woolsey says 2/3 of U.S. population could perish. In a matter of seconds, the world as we know it will cease to exist. The world's economy will be wiped out. Mass riots will follow. Ancient diseases will reemerge. How will you shield yourself and your loved ones from this upcoming apocalypse? Go to darkestdays.info to find out proven methods of protecting yourself, your loved ones, and even your entire community when this worst-case scenario unravels. That's darkestdays.info. darkestdays.info. Go there before this life-saving information becomes unavailable to the large public. Go to darkestdays.info now.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor just won't quit.
When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. Waging war on corruption. It's Alex Jones.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host today. I'll be joined in the next hour by Paul Joseph Watson. We're going to be talking about the article that's at the top of the Drudge Report right now. Fiddling with temperature data is the biggest science scandal ever. That's at the top of the Drudge Report right now, and Paul Joseph Watson and I are going to be talking about that in the next hour. And, of course, people who don't buy their interpretation of the weather data, of the climate data, are called climate deniers. We're not denying climate. We're skeptical of what they're telling us about the climate. We're skeptical of their models. We're skeptical of their conclusions. But now, of course, if you don't want to just accept because it's being told to you by the authorities, either the information about man-made global warming or vaccines, you're now a vaccine denier as well. When you're talking about science, you should immediately have flags go up when somebody who's talking about science starts using deniers as if this is some kind of a religious debate, because it is a religious debate for them. It truly is. They're accepting this on the authority of somebody that is a scientist, and you just need to shut up because you don't have anything to say about that. This is a clip from someplace called Blue Nation, and I thought this guy's take on the whole vaccine debate was very much like some of the callers that we've gotten as well. Listen to him. He lays this out. This is not something that anybody can accuse. You know, I was accused of setting up this idiot who called in a couple of weeks ago. Some people on YouTube were saying that. This is how these people think. Here's this guy with Blue Nation. Go ahead and run that clip.
One of modern medicine's greatest accomplishments is vaccines. Now, you've probably heard about the outbreak at Disneyland. It's up to nearly 100 confirmed cases of measles, a disease which we could completely eradicate if everyone would just vaccinate their damn kids.
Yeah,
Some
your
people,
damn kids.
they still choose not to vaccinate, and their reasons are terrible. First, you don't know your child's body better than your pediatrician does. He went to like a special school where he studied your child's body for years. He knows all the names of all the parts, including the parts on the inside.
Well, including the parts on the inside. I mean, extra special. I mean, this guy went to like a special school for like years, you know, and he like totally knows all the parts of your kid's body by name, inside and out. I mean, you should listen to these guys. Listen, when anybody comes to you with that kind of blind, servile attitude to people in authority, you need to just reject that. If they can't give you reasons for what they believe, if they haven't investigated it themselves, they're the ones who need to shut up. And I want to talk about the hatred, the scapegoating that's being applied to people who actually have done their research. Starting with this article out of California. This is an op-ed piece from the Los Angeles Times. This guy's name is Michael Hiltzik, I think is the way you pronounce his name. He says California moves to end personal belief exemptions for vaccinations at last. At last, finally, we're going to get rid of this. He says every state in the union allows exemptions from immunizations for medical reasons. All states but two, West Virginia and Mississippi, also grant exemptions for religious beliefs, but only 20 allow loose, open-ended philosophical objections to keep children unvaccinated. And he talks about vaccine denial. Again, religious terms. Now, he's talking about ending a personal belief exemption. That is informed consent. I don't need to give them a reason for why I don't need to do something. They need to give me a reason for why I should do it and be honest about the science behind it, be honest about the statistics behind it, but they're not. And I'm not just talking about this particular incident. We've seen a pattern of lying from the CDC, from the government, from the media for decades, going back 40 years to 1976. We've got a clip right here. Let's get that clip ready from 60 Minutes. This is an investigation after the catastrophe around the swine flu vaccination. Now, at that time, about 40 years ago, 1976, the CDC came out and said, we've got this life-threatening disease. This is going to be like the influenza epidemic of 1917, 1918. We had more people die than did with World War I, with the actual hostilities. So they panicked the public. They got 46 million people to get vaccinated. Then they wound up with 4,000 people suing them because of permanent injury or death. And they wound up having to pay, or at least the lawsuits at the time that they did this report were $3.5 billion in 1976 dollars. That would be about $15 billion today. But of course, that was something that we shouldn't be concerned about. Listen to the way that they put this out to the people in 1976. It sounds very familiar to the way they're couching the terms today. Let's play that.
Remember the swine flu scare of 1976? That was the year the U.S. government told us all that swine flu could turn out to be a killer that could spread across the nation. And Washington decided that every man, woman, and child in the nation should get a shot to prevent a nationwide outbreak, a pandemic. Well, 46 million of us obediently took the shot. And now 4,000 Americans are claiming damages from Uncle Sam amounting to $3.5 billion. Because of what happened when they took that shot. By far the greatest number of the claims, 2/3 of them, are for neurological damage or even death, allegedly triggered by the flu shot.
Well, this year you can get protection. The vaccines are safe, easy to take, and they can protect you against flu. So roll up your sleeve. Protect yourself.
One of those who did roll up her sleeve was Judy Roberts. She was perfectly healthy, an active woman, when in November of 1976, she took her shot.
Now,
2 weeks later, she said she began to feel a numbness starting up her legs.
On leg braces at this point.
I joked about it at that time. I said I'll be numb to the knees by Friday if this keeps up. By the following week, I was totally paralyzed.
So completely paralyzed, in fact, that they had to operate on her to enable her to breathe.
And that picture where they stop right there, they show an indentation in her neck where they basically had to do a tracheotomy. It essentially paralyzed her. She never got back full control. She would always be in braces, always be hobbled. If you look at that report, her husband is guilt-stricken because she never wanted to take vaccines. He talked her into it. And I think there's a lesson there, because when we look at this editorial from this guy in the LA Times, he says a change in California law that went into effect in January the 1st, 2014, may have begun to turn around the trend of people who don't want to take vaccines. What happens is, if you've got a child in school and you say, no, I don't give you my consent to do this, I'm not comfortable with what you want to do, then basically they bring you in. You have to come in and receive counseling about the benefits and the risks of childhood immunization from a medical professional. But they're not going to be telling you the real risks. Let's run the next part of this 60 Minutes report here, showing how they panicked people into doing this. Go ahead.
Dr. David Sencer, then head of the CDC, the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, is now in private industry. He devised the swine flu program, and he pushed it.
Rewarded.
You began to give flu shots to the American people in October of 76.
October 1st.
By that time, how many cases of swine flu around the world had been reported?
There had been several reported, but none confirmed.
Get that?
Now, nearly everyone was to receive the shot in a public health facility where a doctor might not be present. Therefore, it was up to the CDC to come up with some kind of official consent form, giving the public all the information it needed about the swine flu shot.
They told people they had to do this. They gave them phony consent reports. We're going to be right back. Stay with us.
The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride, GMO, estrogen mimickers, and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race. And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit Info